Alright, so this Abyssal Dungeon is relatively quick, relatively easy, so long as everybody does their part, and... oh god. Let's get into it. Okay, so this handsome guy only has a few mechanics to look out for, besides the obvious skills you should always be avoiding. He'll occasionally spawn these totems, as you can see here. Basically, you have to destroy them, otherwise he'll keep getting stronger and stronger. However, you can't destroy them alone, because the person that last hits the final totem will get this debuff that you see here, and it'll freeze them. So your team has to hit you in order to free you, just like in the other Abyssal Dungeons. At this point, Neo will warn you, telling you that the boss will set the entire map on fire, and you will take continuous damage unless you stand inside his little blue safety circle. The tricky part is that sometimes he'll do this big spinning attack that'll definitely one-shot your entire team if you take the full brunt of it. This attack that you're seeing is not the AoE that you want to be avoiding. This, however, is. He throws his arms back, and you'll get caught inside this AoE, and then he does the devastating one-shot. If you have a stopwatch potion like I do in my number 4 slot, you can use that and you'll avoid the entirety of the whole thing. Here he does his pizza cone ability, and the best way to avoid the pizza cone damage is to stay as close as possible to the boss. If you hug him, all you have to do is move slightly to the left or slightly to the right. When he does this pizza cone, it means that the cone ability phase is over. At this point, my dumbass thought that this was the big one-shot ability, so I used my stopwatch. Don't be like Bundiff. Keep in mind that the boss will drop his safety circle every time he spawns totems, so you gotta destroy those. And let your teammates free you every time you get frozen. And the rest of the fight is rinse and repeat until he dies. Next. Alright, keep in mind that I'll be focusing mainly on explaining the main mechanics. Everything else should be self-explanatory and only requires you to react and dodge. And remember, if you stay behind the boss, he'll kick you. If you stay by his sides, he'll smack you with his wings. But these are a little bit more telegraphed. So let's begin with the first stagger check. Don't feel too bad if you guys fail this, because at the early stages of tier 3, you probably won't have enough stagger damage on your team. If you succeed, great, smack him. Should you fail, he gets a damage buff that you can see here. When the boss puts down a huge red circle like this, it means it's the beginning of the memory game. The boss will show you a pattern, and you have to remember which sides are safe and which sides are not, as you can see here. If it helps, on stream in this clip, I said right, middle, right, out loud. Now would be a good time to tell you guys that the buff that I mentioned earlier that the boss got can only be removed if you manage to knock it out by depleting that purple bar underneath its health bar. That's the only way you'll get rid of its damage buffs. Occasionally the boss will spawn these little jesters, and they'll chase one person on your team. All you gotta do is kill them, otherwise if they touch the person that they're chasing, the entire team will go blind. When the boss flies away and you see these patterns appear, you immediately have to run away and avoid those orbs. These orbs will stun you, and at the end of the rotation of lightning and orbs, a safety zone will spawn. If anyone is outside of the safety zone, everyone will die. The zone requires 4 people to be inside. He does this mechanic back to back, so keep your eyes peeled. For the final mechanic, the boss will have a symbol above its back, as you can see here. All you have to do is stand in the corresponding circle that has the same symbol. You'll have to do this 3 times, and that's it. It helps if you arrange your team in the 4 cardinal positions based on number. So, 1 goes north, 2 goes east, 3 goes south, and 4 goes west. That way you don't step on each other's toes and steal circles from each other. And that's it. So that was Oreha Preveza. Remember that you can always bring Whirlwind Grenades to help you with the stagger checks. Let me know if I missed something. Let me know if there are other guides you might want, and I'd be happy to make them. You can find me live on twitch.tv/Bundiff when this video goes up. Subscribe and give me a smooch. Take it easy. Bye.